My name is Mr. Musser. I'm here at the beautiful Oregon Caves National Monument and Preserve to teach you about some science. So where does the water from this creek come from? And where does it go? That's what we're going to explore in today's video about watersheds. So a watershed is an area of land where water can drain into a stream, river, or large body of water. What I have here is a model of a watershed, not the Oregon Preserve one, but just a general one that we'll use, and then we'll connect it to Oregon Caves. So we're going to start with precipitation in the form of rainfall. I'm going to simulate that with my water bottle here. So rain will fall onto the land, and then eventually it'll accumulate on the land, and it will go down into the streams or nearby water areas. That's called runoff, where the water is running off the land into the water. Let's stop it right now. So now the runoff is going into the stream, and you'll notice that the stream water is feeding into a larger body of water. So we call the stream a tributary when it's feeding into something that's larger, a larger body of water. So now you see that the water will eventually connect to the local streams, which then connects to the rivers and the ponds and the lakes. So the watershed system keeps expanding, expanding, expanding. So small ones are part of larger ones, and eventually most of these will run into the ocean. So now that you're familiar with what a watershed is, we're going to look at ways that it can be contaminated. Water quality could be contaminated through a variety of different ways of our doing. So the first way we're going to look at is with a factory. Now we have laws and codes in place, so pollution should not be going into our watershed. However, if factories aren't up to code, this could lead to some pollution. So when they're not disposing of materials the proper way, you'll notice that pollution or sludge from the factories will go down from the factories and will lead into our watershed system, polluting the water that we use. I think this is a very good visual of what it can do. So another way that water can be contaminated is through farming. If farms aren't properly taken care of with pesticides and taking care of the soil, this can lead to loose soil and contaminants entering the watershed in the local area. So I just sprayed a little of our sludge and mess here, and you already see some of it's going down. It's seeping into our nearby ponds, and there it goes. So rainfall will carry all that stuff into our watershed system. So you may be thinking, well, I don't work at a factory, or I don't work on a farm. What do I do? Well, something that can happen just in your hometown area would be if you or your family is not properly disposing of like oil from cars that might spill onto your driveway, or just loose trash and things in general that spill. That can also lead into some water contamination and pollution just through our drainage system and sewage system. So once again, rain can carry these pollutants and contaminants down the roads, through our sewage, and it'll eventually lead into our watershed system again. So in today's video, we've been talking about watersheds. With me I have Ranger Marcy, who's an expert in this area. So Ranger Marcy, can you tell us about how River Styx inside the cave is connected to the preserved watershed?
Yes, I can. So the water that runs down in streams or any rain or snow melt actually soaks into the soil. Along the way, it picks up carbon dioxide, CO2 from the atmosphere and the ground, turns it into carbonic acid and mixes with the water. Now, as it reaches the rock, the marble, it has cracks in it, and the acid widens out those cracks, forming the passages in the cave. Eventually drips down and enters River Styx. So all the water from River Styx is coming from the surface in streams and rain, and it eventually runs throughout the whole cave, and then it dumps out the front into Cave Creek, which we actually have behind us here.
All right. And also in our video we looked at different ways water might be contaminated or water quality might be affected. So what is something that has affected Oregon Cave's water quality or has in the past?
So one of the reasons for becoming preserved was to protect our watershed. Pollution from nearby pasture fields, including methane leaching and waste from those, would get into the water and actually pollute the water in the cave and throughout our whole stream. So we're now protecting those areas.
All right. Thank you, Ranger Marcy. I think that brought everything together. We're going to close it today, so we'll see you next time.
You're welcome.